Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ag Web Radio. I'm Pam Fretwell with your weekend market summary. Of course, Jerry Gulke, president of the Gulke Group, again with me today. Jerry, it's been quite a week. I've been on the Pro Farmer Crop Tour all week long with a bunch of farmers and traders, and we were looking at the corn crop and the bean crop, and boy, did it look kind of bad out there, I've got to admit.
Yeah, it is, and it's depending on where you go into a field, you may be surprised or you may be really dejected. I've seen that in my fields up north in northern Illinois. On one field, I finally had to walk the whole field kitty corner, like an X type of thing. And I mean, I can't hardly believe it could vary from, say, 110 down to 30. I know what it's not. It's not a good crop, but I just don't know how bad it is yet.
Absolutely, and of course, as we had the crop tour, the markets went crazy this week. Speculators, I think, were kind of looking for something that maybe they could talk about. And with anything, when you've got people out in the field and tweeting and doing those kind of things, it does have an impact sometimes on those markets.
Yeah, we're supposed to get used to trading 21 hours a day, but now they're trading information, and we got tweets from people online at Pro Farmer as well. But I think what the market was looking at was they have a bias in mind that if farmers do something, then farmers are inherently negative. And that may be true. Maybe I look in there and I always seem to underestimate my crop. So, I think what the shock was in corn, not so much beans, but in corn, that Pro Farmer found some good yields. In other words, I saw corn this week at a test plot, a big that's 220, 240, 32,000 big ears. I can look at it and say, I don't know what it is, but it's over twice as good as my best corn. And then I went 10 miles away and terrible. Prime land in Rochelle, Illinois, west of DeKalb, maybe 40 bushels if he's lucky. So there are spots along the corridor of Illinois 30, Route 30 west is very good corn. And then you can go just 10 miles away where they missed that inch or two of rain, and they're terrible. But there's some good corn, and I think the market was expecting nobody to find anything, over 125 anywhere. And I think that was a shock to say that some of this corn did, and that some corn benefited from the late rains. I think we've seen some of that, but so much silage being cut and so much poor corn and dead corn that you got to wonder, is there that much good corn that we're even going to make 105 or 110 bushel an acre nationwide?
And we talked a little bit off the record here about the farmer and when he's combining and how he's having to set his combine. I mean, it's not going to be an easy crop to get what's out there either.
Yeah, and we have, and of course a lot of the traders don't know this, but we do have variable stripper plates, that we can move them in and out. And I've noticed on mine, I've never had a problem really because the ears are bigger than the stalks. But I do have wear spots in them where I may have to spend the money and fix all that to get it. It may really pay to get that top notch to where we can get that stalk narrow enough to where that that cob slips through. But from what I've heard from people that are combining already, there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of corn they're saying they're losing out of the back. And I mean, some people say I'm losing 10 bushels an acre and I can't stop it. So we'll combine early this year. But usually the December and then the January really is the one where they count the stocks of what we got and what we got in the bin and figure out what we use. That may be the final best shot of what we get as for supply, and it may be a long drawn out affair to really know what we got to work with. And by that time we could be all over the place price wise. I watched some technicals, and we got some of the same technicals that I use in charts that I put on the top producer articles and so forth. We got sell signals in corn a while back. It went higher, and we do a fast and a slow system. Both of them are short. The slow one never did go long through this whole thing, and now we're getting some setback. But what's interesting is that on these indicators, they will lose their amplitude. They'll stop going up, and they'll start looking bad. We have decreased the amplitude, we'll say, down to the point where you'd say, by golly, the next buy signal might look pretty good. That may be what takes us to this $10 a bushel they talk about. I watched the same thing in soybeans. No sell signals yet at all. Any kind of a pullback at all would just met with a new leg higher, and we're doing that in soybeans now where if you're a technician at all, you look at it and you go up a ways and then you pause, and then you, for a few days, and then you go again. Well, I've just looked at the weekly chart as we were talking, and, we've been going sideways here. If you go back and look for 4 or 5 weeks, we've had a wide range of trading, and it hurts. If you're long and short and wrong, you're going to lose a lot of money. You're going to lose $1,000 in a contract of corn in a day and a half if you happen to do everything wrong if you're a trader. So a lot of them are getting disgusted. But it looks like you're going sideways here while the market is buying time and information. And I think, just as you and I talked about how difficult it is, that's what this market is exhibiting. He's saying, shoot, I don't know what it is, but I know that if corn goes to $7, everybody's going to want to buy some, at least now. But if it goes to $9, who's going to want it? So maybe $8 is an equilibrium point that says we're going to keep the pressure on until either somebody quits using it or we find out we don't have enough regardless, and we got to go higher to curb demand some more. Soybeans, different matter. You don't hear CNBC talk about all that, how bad the soybean crop is and so forth, because it's about China and it's about global, and we've got a crop coming in South America that may or may not relieve the stress of supply. If they get a bad crop, then Katie bar the door. But in corn, I can talk to people, and we use it in so many uses that there are a lot of ways we can curb demand or substitute and get by. I talked to an elevator, a miller in California that I'm going to go visit. He sells to a dairy out there, and he also buys EDGs from the ethanol plant. The ethanol plant is bringing in a shipload of Milo out of Argentina to drop in the ports, and that's not cheap. So they're already starting to use something else. They're using Milo. Some are even blending wheat. He's in the milling business. He said, we're going to start blending wheat out of north again, and we're going to buy barley out of Canada, because if you looked at the Canada stats, they have a lot of barley in Canada this year, good barley crop. So it looks like we're doing everything we possibly can to keep the animals alive and hoping that we can get by, and my goodness, we got to get by till next fall. So it's going to be a tough job for end users, and, of course, the exporter guy, he may be gone. I don't know how much of this stuff they're going to buy at these prices, but difficult times that we're going to be able to write a book when we get done.
Absolutely. Jerry Gulke with me today. Of course, he's the president of the Gulke Group. That's going to be it for our weekend market summary. I'm Pam Fretwell here on AgWeb Radio.